You're unbelievable, Lena. You just had to ruin everything. Emily's voice sliced through the sound of the waves in the distance. Her fork clanged against her plate as she crossed her arms, glaring at me with theatrical disdain. I froze in place, while the rest of the table went quiet, the silence settling like a heavy fog. My dad let out a tired sigh. My mom's lips thinned into that tight line she always wore when pretending to stay neutral, but her silence said otherwise. I lowered my eyes to my plate. The shrimp scampi might as well have been cardboard. My appetite had vanished, buried. Under the familiar weight of disapproval, my name is Lena Harper. I'm 35, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the default scapegoat. Family drama. My fault. Dinner behind schedule. Blame me. Weather gone bad? On a picnic day? Ask my mom, she'd probably say I somehow caused it. Emily always emerged. From the ruble, looking pristine, she's charming, magnetic, and masterful at twisting things to make herself the poor, misunderstood victim. Mom calls it adorable. I call it exhausting. But when you've been the family punching bag your whole life, you just adapt. I should have seen it coming. The next blame game with my name in lights. Yet part of me always holds on to hope. Maybe this time would be different. This mess started 2 days ago when we arrived at the beach resort for what was supposed to be a peaceful family getaway. I had taken charge booked the hotel, made dinner reservations, and lined up activities. I cross-referenced reviews, rechecked confirmations made. Sure, everything was flawless. But at our first dinner reservation, the hostess shook her head. No booking in our name. I frantically pulled up the email. It's right here. I made the reservation weeks ago, I insisted. Then why are we standing here without a table? Emily snipped, her voice dripping with condescension. Nice work, Lena. The hostess apologized but held firm. The reservation had been canceled, and the restaurant was packed. We ended up grabbing burgers at a greasy diner instead, and Emily, she milked the disappointment for all it was worth. Her dramatic sighs, her pointed looks, she made it known I'd failed. The next morning wasn't much better. Emily had organized a snorkeling excursion, her only contribution, and when we showed up, the guide informed us the boat had mechanical issues, delayed, no one's fault. But that didn't stop Emily from muttering, classic Lena Plain. I wanted to scream. I hadn't even touched that part of the trip, but years of practice kept me quiet. Starting a fight, not worth it. Still, her digs got sharper. My parents predictably stood by in silence. Mom even chuckled at one of her snipes. You too need to work on your teamwork. Teamworkers. If this disaster was on both of us. I bit my tongue, blinked back tears, and kept quiet by the second night. As we sat down at another fancy restaurant, Emily decided to make it official I was to blame for everything. She leaned in, raising her voice as she ticked off my failures like bullet points. First, we miss our dinner because Lena didn't hit confirm. Then the snorkeling trip flops. What did you forget to check the weather too? That's enough, Emily, I said, my voice trembling. My dad watched, silent. My mom gave me that look, the one that begged for an apology I didn't know. Emily grinned, soaking up the spotlight. Don't get defensive. Just calling it like I see it. I clenched the tablecloth, the heat in my chest rising. I'd let so many things go, but not this time. Something in me cracked. Her accusations lingered long after dessert. My dad rubbed his temples. Mom busied herself with the check, eyes averted. Finally, she sighed. Lena, you know how much these trips mean to the family? Why didn't you double-check things? I did. I snapped, louder than intended. All eyes on me. I checked everything twice. I don't know what went wrong, but I tried. Emily sighed. Well, clearly not hard enough. She stood, tossing her napkin onto the plate. I'm going for a walk. Maybe someone else can figure out how to salvage the rest of this vacation. She vanished, and silence took her place. That night, I lay in bed, her words playing on loop. You just had to mess everything up. And my parents silent, complicit, as if the verdict had been read and I was guilty by default. I thought about calling Lisa my best friend, my lifeline, but it was late. I didn't want to unload on her. Instead, I opened my phone, scrolling through old messages, trying to distract myself. That's when I saw a thread from Emily 2 weeks ago. Hey, Lena, can you double check the snorkeling thing? I'm swamped and think I messed it up. Also might have accidentally canceled the dinner race scan. You fix it? I stared. She admitted it. It was all there. She messed up and dumped it on me. The next morning. I couldn't focus. Breakfast was awkward, small talk. Mom tried to pretend nothing happened. Emily stayed glued to her phone. I kept looking to Dad, hoping he'd say something, but he just drank his coffee. I slipped away to the beach and called Lisa. What happened? She asked. I told her everything. By the end, I was breathless, and you're just letting her get away with it, Lisa said. Lena, you've got proof. Show them. I don't know, I admitted. Feels petty. No, she said. What's petty is letting her rewrite the truth while your parents cheer her on. Her words shook something loose. She was right. That night at dinner, I made a choice. No more silence. Emily struck again as dessert arrived. So, Lena, what's your sabotage plan for tomorrow? My fork hit my plate with a clang. That's enough, I said, voice low and steady. Oh, relax, she said. Just kidding. No, you're not. I slid my phone from my purse and opened the message thread. You want the truth? Here it is. I placed the phone on the table. Recognize this, Emily. Her smirk faltered. My mom leaned in. What? What is this? She canceled the dinner, said so right here, and asked me to fix it. The snorkeling. Same story. My dad's brow furrowed as he read. Emily, is this true? She went pale. Then, with her signature act, big eyes, trembling voice. Come on, Dad, it's just texts. You're misunderstanding. I was venting. Venting? I nearly shouted. You've been tearing me down all week, and now you're calling it a misunderstanding. Girls, Mom said, let's not make this a fight. It's not a fight, I snapped. It's the truth. Emily looked cornered. No smugness left. I didn't mean for this to happen. I messed up. I'm sorry. Dad set the phone down. Beth, we've let this go on too long. Mom's eyes flicked between us. What do you mean? Mean we've been blind, he said, to how much we've let Lena carry. For the first time, my mother didn't argue. Why didn't you say something? She asked me. I laughed bitterly. Would it have changed anything? You've always taken her side. She reached across the table, her hand brushing mine. I'm sorry, she whispered. Later, Dad pulled me aside on the balcony. I owe you an apology, he said. We've leaned on you too much. I'll try to do better. That night, Mom came to my room. I knew, deep down, she admitted, but it was easier to ignore. I see you now, Lena, she added. I really do. Emily didn't say much the next day, but before we left, she approached me. I know I messed up. I'm sorry. It's not just this week, I told her. It has to stop. She nodded. I'll try. That was enough for now. The weeks after were different. Emily sent small check-ins. My parents called more. They actually listened. But the real change was in me. I spoke up at work. 这个 credit for my efforts. Drew lines in the sand. Lisa toasted me over lunch. To the new Lena. I'm getting there, I said. No, she grinned. You're already there. At home. Things weren't perfect but better. When Mom asked me to plan the next family trip, I set a boundary. I'll help, but I'm not taking the lead. Let Emily do it. She paused, then nodded. Fair enough. And just like that, a weight lifted. One evening, watching the sunset from my balcony, I thought of the girl I used to be. Silent, overburdened. She felt like a stranger, because now I knew my worth, and I didn't need anyone else to prove it.